What is up, guys? In today's video I wanted to share with you guys some habits that have changed my life to live a more healthier, happier, and fit lifestyle. And I'm of course not coming on here saying that you guys need to do these to live this kind of lifestyle. No, I mean, we all are so different, and these are things that just work for me. These are kind of have worked for me and become customized to me and my lifestyle. But this is just a video to maybe inspire you guys to add some more healthy habits into your life, maybe give you guys some ideas to add these into your life. But I'm not coming on here saying that you guys need to do these things to be a happy, fit, healthy person. No, that's just not my style. I hope that this just inspires you and maybe gives you guys some ideas for your own lifestyle. And I'm also not coming on here saying that I live a perfect, happy, health, fit lifestyle. No. Nobody lives a lifestyle like that. We're not all happy all the time. We just try and be happy because it's nicer than being sad all the time. So these are just things that make me feel good. And I mean, I've been really working on these things this year because 2020 has been like the year. Like, oh my God, it's been bad. But I've been really making sure I implement these as much as possible in my life to make me just be happier overall, because life can be crazy sometimes. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video, and I'm going to share with you guys some of my healthy habits. So the first habit that I have is that I'm always incorporating new healthy meals into my diet. I like to have more of a, I guess, bigger list of healthier meals to go to rather than unhealthy meals. And I kind of made this as a resolution last year, actually, is that each month I try a new healthy meal. And this has just kind of grown my meal ideas in more of the healthier realm, and I really do enjoy it. So when it comes down to like on Sunday when Dave and I are deciding what meals we want to have during the week, we can just kind of look back at all the meals that we have, and if we try new ones we like them and we kind of just switch them out and things like that. It just gives you more of a list of healthier meals than unhealthier meals. And I get this question a lot of people are like, how do I eat healthy, blah blah blah. When I first started on my health journey, I just started incorporating more healthy meals, and this has just kind of grown into something. So try something like that if you're interested in trying healthier meals or wanting to eat healthier, is like slowly incorporate it, whether that's once a week, every 2 weeks. That's how I started, is like once a week I tried a new meal, and then I kind of grew from there, and then I just kind of slowly expanded it out to once a month. But that just has worked for me and has given me new ideas and new ways to create healthy meals and try new foods that I wouldn't typically try. So the next one is kind of like a two-part thing, and is making sure I have a lot of produce and that I'm consuming a lot of whole foods and a lot of plant-based foods. My diet is based on plant foods. I think that plant foods is what our body needs to run off of, and incorporating those and having those available to me is so very important. And so I make sure that I always have produce available, whether that's frozen or just fresh. I want to have those available so I can snack on them and just incorporate those into my meals. And then I just try and have as much whole foods as I can and try and stay away from the processed food as much as I can. I mean, it's pretty hard to stay away from processed food, but I do like to try and keep as much produce available so that I just have abundance of it, so it's just easier to gravitate towards rather than going for a granola bar. And then this also goes into my next thing, which is also kind of like a two-parter thing. It is cooking my meals and also cooking a little bit extra to have for the next day, to have some leftovers. This is something that I've really worked on, is cooking my own meals. I used to suck at cooking. I was more of a baking person rather than a cooking person, but I started to cook my own meals, especially when David, my boyfriend, would go away on work trips. I had to cook my own meals because David was the one cooking, and I learned to fall in love with cooking. I got better at it, and I started making new meals, like I said before, and I just started to fall in love with it and like it a lot more, and now it's become something that really makes me happy. I really do enjoy cooking, and it just makes me happy when I cook. And also I like to make extra so that the next day I have food for my lunch, and I have food for David's lunch as well, so that we don't have to worry about what we're going to be eating the next day. We're not going to just gravitate towards a peanut butter and jam sandwich. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. A good PB&J sandwich is good as well, but it's always just nice to have leftovers so that you can just kind of heat it up the next day and eat it like that. It's just easier to do and not hard to do, as you just make a bigger meal, like a for a third person. You have food for the next day and you don't have to worry about what you're gonna eat for lunch because you have your leftovers. So the next habit I have is something that really works for me. I know it won't work for everyone, so this is just something that works for me. It is to go to bed earlier, to wake up earlier. That is something that really helps me. I mean, when it comes to health and fitness, we mostly focus on food and exercise, but sleep is such an important aspect, and honestly, when I don't get a good night's sleep, it really affects every single thing in my life. So the past couple nights, I actually haven't been really getting a lot of sleep. I've been staying up almost all night because our dog Sam has really big issues with thunder and he gets really anxious, and we've had a lot of thunderstorms here, and so I've had to stay up all night with him, and that affects my eating a lot and it affects my exercise, and it just makes me feel really bad overall. Like, I feel sick to my stomach, I feel so slow. So sleep is such an important thing to me, getting as much sleep as I can. I'm not a great person at getting like 8 hours, like a good 7 hours is good for me because I don't sleep a lot, but I do like to sleep, if that makes sense. And I like to go to bed early and wake up earlier because I just feel so much more productive, and I just like to get going when the sun's up kind of thing. So I go to bed at like 9 o'clock and I wake up at like 5:36, just depends on the day. And it really works for me and helps me be just a more productive person, because when I go to bed late or I don't get any sleep, I'm a train wreck. Like, I feel so bad, I eat like crap, and I just don't want to do anything. The next habit that I have is that I love to do a face care routine. This is actually something that I implemented like right at the beginning of the whole lockdown with coronavirus, and I have just fallen in love with it. It is such a self-care thing for me, and I love to do like a morning routine and a night routine. It just makes me feel so much better. I feel like I'm pampering myself. I feel like I'm making myself better by doing a whole face care routine. I mean, I was never a person who did this. I never really did much. I would kind of like wash my face once in a while, and then I had a really bad period where I really broke out and I didn't understand, and then it started to kind of clear up, but I never really worked on it, and I was kind of like frustrated with myself, like, why? And then I started working on my skin, and my skin has never felt so good, and I love it. And it just, I mean, this is definitely can intertwine, I guess, with a confidence thing or whatever, but personally for me, I think it's just more the routine that makes me feel really good and makes me feel like I'm pampering myself and taking time for myself, and I just really love it. And I've fallen in love with kind of just doing like a little simple skincare routine, and I like it. The next habit of mine is that when it comes to exercising, I really like to do what I love to do, if that makes sense. So for me, when it comes to exercising, I truly love doing CrossFit. It makes me feel so good, so confident, and I know not every exercise is for everyone. I know some people would just prefer yoga or running or whatever, but CrossFit is something that I truly love to do and works really well for me and well for my body. And I mean, obviously you guys know this because you guys watch my channel, if you guys have seen any of my videos before, but that's just something that works for me. Exercising and doing something that I love to do makes me feel better, because I mean, I'm not a person who loves to run marathons. I don't mind running once in a while, but running like marathons is not my jam. Right now, no, I'm not a long distance runner. I'm not great at that, and I don't enjoy that, but some people do. And so CrossFit is my thing, and I really just love doing the exercise that I love to do. So that's just CrossFit for me. So the next one, don't take it the wrong way. I feel like this could be taken the wrong way, but don't hate me for the next sentence that comes out of my mouth. And that is that I personally try not to rely on coffee. So coffee and me don't like mix well. I'm an anxious person, so coffee really gets me going, and I become more anxious when I drink caffeinated coffee. And when I was in university, I was addicted to coffee, and it was so bad. Like I would have like a 2-hour lecture, and I would have a big coffee before my lecture, during the lecture, and after the lecture. Like, that's insane. That 3 huge coffees in like 2 hours, I mean, don't get me wrong, David, he has coffee every single day. He loves it. He can't live without it, okay? But for me, drinking so much of it and relying heavily on it really stressed me out. And also drinking so much of it, making me caffeinated, and being an anxious person does not mix well. every time if I have a cup of coffee that is fully caffeinated, I don't function very well. Now you guys have definitely seen me drink coffee before if you have seen my other videos, and I do drink decaf coffee. That works for me, and I have it maybe like a couple times a week. I try not to rely on coffee. I don't want to rely on coffee because I don't want to rely on that energy. I want the energy to come from not that. Because of my whole university experience and relying on that really just stressed me out, and being anxious and having to rely on that just doesn't like work well with me. I'm hoping that makes sense, but for me personally, I just don't want to rely on that. I don't want to have to worry about having my cup of coffee in the morning. I mean, some people that brings great pleasure to them, and that's okay. Like, some people really do enjoy that, and that's perfectly okay. But for me personally, as an anxious person, I just prefer to not rely on it, and maybe once in a while have a decaf coffee, have it a couple times a week, and that's perfectly okay, and just enjoy it when I have it. Okay, I think we are on number 8 now. Habit number 8, I think that's what we're on. And it is to learn to be inspired by women and to not be jealous of them. So society has definitely taught me personally that I should be jealous of women. I should not think of them as kind of competition, and I really hate that. And I've learned recently that you shouldn't be thinking like that, and it's so bad for your mental health. It's ridiculous. And I want to think the best of others. I want to be inspired by others. I want others to be happy, and I want to be proud of other women and not be upset if they accomplish something that's bigger than what I accomplished or whatever. Like, no, I don't want to think of women as competition. I just want to be inspired and not just be jealous of them. I mean, social media has really definitely become a game of like hierarchy, and I totally hate that like a lot. And I definitely just want women to just show their lives. And I mean, we're all so different, and I mean, you can't compare your life to another person because we all have different environments, we all have different circumstances, and it's all different. Like, we're so different, and people need to realize that, and to not compare yourself to other women and be jealous of them because they have something else that you don't have. Don't look at it like that. And I've been trying to not look at it like that, and sometimes I do have times where I'm like, man, I'm so jealous of this person, or I'm so upset that this person has that and I don't have that and I don't look like that. In the end, it just hurts your mental health a lot. So something that I'm working on, and I'm always working on, and it has helped me so much, and it's just to not be jealous of other women and support each other and lift each other up, because that's what we need in this life, is to just lift each other up and be supportive of each other. So habit number 9 is to keep a clean, minimal space. And I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm not a minimalist or anything like that, that's for sure. But I do try and keep a clean space without tons of clutter anywhere, because clutter on the outside will just keep clutter in your mind. Because if I have a ton of stuff that is everywhere and the house isn't clean, then I become very cluttered, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta do this, and I become very scattered-minded, and that's just not good for your mental health, of course. And so for me, I like to try and keep my space as clean as possible. I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, definitely with moving, it has been really hard to kind of keep things clean. We're still like renovating the house, so we're trying to get the renovations done so we can start cleaning and pushing things that like into their spots kind of thing. Because like right now, the room that I'm in, it is just, there's still boxes. So when I look at those things, I'm like, oh my god, I need to do this, this, and this, and oh my god, things keep piling up. And it doesn't help me mentally, and it makes me feel more stressed and frustrated. Whereas when I have a more clean space, I don't have to worry about those things, and I can concentrate on other things. And when I'm concentrating on something, I'm not concentrating on the box that's over there. It just helps me so much better when I keep kind of a clean, less cluttered, minimal kind of space. Number 10 is to get some fresh air. I love this. I love the outdoors. It is just so grounding to me to just kind of like sit outside and just be like, oh, like just breathe in the fresh air, look at some trees, look at some grass, and just enjoy it as much as possible. That is just something that really grounds me and makes me feel so much more relaxed. And sometimes as a Canadian, it's really hard to get that fresh air in the winter when it's like -40 out and you just don't want to go outside. So when it's warm out and when it's the season of summer and spring and fall and I can be outside, I try and be outside as much as possible, because it is just a time where I can just enjoy it and get some fresh air and just ground myself. That is my favorite time. Even sometimes in winter, it really just depends, but Fresh air always just makes me feel so much better and happier. Like, oh, I feel good. The next habit that I have is that I like to take periodical social media detoxes. So every once in a while, like a day or for a weekend, I like to just delete the apps on my phone, and that makes me feel so much better. I'm just a person who unconsciously picks up my phone and starts scrolling through Instagram, not even like really necessarily consuming the feed. And if I'm consuming the feed, I'm like looking at it and I'm seeing people work out and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not working out. Oh my God, I need to get more fit, and I start stressing out and I start comparing myself to others. So sometimes it's just really good to just social media detox. Get rid of that stuff, not see all the things that are going on the internet. That stuff can just be overconsumed sometimes, and you're just like, especially me, my mind just starts reeling and starts going. So sometimes it's just really good to just delete the apps for a weekend or a couple days and just relax and step away from social media. The next healthy habit is something that I consume, and that is a turmeric supplement. So as someone who works out and has dealt with injury, a lot of inflammation does happen in my body. And so one way that I do like to reduce inflammation is by consuming turmeric. And I like to consume a turmeric pill probably daily or every couple days, just to kind of help with the inflammation in my body. And I'm not coming on here saying that you need to have just plant foods heal your body. I find that some foods do help heal your body and help you keep a healthier body, and I find that turmeric is just one of the supplements that I do take quite often to just help reduce the inflammation in my body. And of course, I'm not coming on here saying like take turmeric over Advil or whatever. No, I'm not. No, I'm just saying that just works for me, is just taking turmeric, which helps with inflammation in my body. I'm not trying to give you any medical advice or anything like that. That is just something that works for me. Habit number 13 is to sit down and meditate and journal. I definitely don't do this every single day. I try and do it as frequently as possible, but journaling really does help me just kind of get all the crazy thoughts that are happening in here and are constantly going onto a piece of paper and kind of out of my head, and just like let me vent a little bit, because sometimes my thoughts definitely get reeling and I just keep going. So I just gotta write it out on a piece of paper, and I feel a lot better after. It feels like I just vented everything out, and it just feels so good. And then also meditating really does help me as well, because I just kind of sit down, have some moments of silence, and kind of quiet that voice inside of my head. I mean, I've had a lot of people come to me say like meditation doesn't work for them. It takes practice. It's definitely something that is learned. It has taken me a while to learn, and even sometimes I have days where it really is hard to quiet my mind, but it definitely does make me feel better. There are some days where my mind still goes, but I still feel better after it, because I still have a couple moments to just sit down and be silent and just chill a little bit. And it just makes me feel so much better. And then my next habit kind of goes with that, and that is stretching. Stretching is something that I definitely don't do every day. I definitely go through phases of it, but I try and do it as much as possible because it makes my body feel really good. I am a person whose muscles really react, especially when I get injured or something. My muscles automatically seize up really fast, and I really don't have flexible muscles. So when it comes to stretching, it is definitely a challenge for me, but it makes me feel so much better. I feel so much better when I'm working out, and I feel so much like less stiff in my everyday life. And it gives me those moments of almost like meditation where I can just relax and feel the stretch in my body. And it's just improving my body overall. It's improving the strength in my body as well. And I just feel good after it. Last but not least, this is something that I've talked about before in my videos, and I mean, I could go on and on about this for a very long time. I'm gonna try and not to, but something that has helped me and a habit that I have worked on is learning to love my body. This is something that I'm always working on too. I mean, it's not something that just kind of clicks and you're like, oh, I love my body. It doesn't work like that. It is definitely a journey, and I'm still on that journey, and I think I'll be on that journey for the rest of my life. But I have definitely grown from where I was when I first started. I mean, I used to hate my body so much, and I used to compare my body to like all these models and things like that, and I've learned over time that that's just not a reality for me. And I mean, my body is so different. We are so different. We are all so different, like I said before, and We're always growing and we're always changing. And by learning to love my body, this has really helped me live a happier, healthier life. And I cannot stress that enough. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have a healthy habit that you guys absolutely stick to, let me know down below. And if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. It really does help the channel. And if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below. You guys know where it is. And don't forget to be unstoppable. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Summer days burn me out, love just brings me down. Cold inside like winter leaves that slowly leave the ground. Hey, you come back, I wanna give you a chance. Love me like you used to, so we can learn again. The skin is getting brown.